live. Let me put my banner on because I love having my banner. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another lunchtime segment of my gorgeous Pretty Pro members who have kindly offered to come and be interviewed by me. And today I'm a bit of a shambles, so our Nicola is having to deal with a lot. I hope you are all I hope you're all doing really well. I can see that people are watching. Please do let us know if you are watching. We are coming to you from StreamYard. Hi, Emma. Hello, my darling. How are you this lovely afternoon? This was you yesterday, isn't it strange? Back to Beyond the Dawn TV. I'm rather loving this, actually, and I might have to make a bit of a feature out of it. We might have to do like Pretty Pro Member TV and just stream ourselves all over the internet on other days as well, because it's been fantastic. Today, I really wanted to talk to you guys about my wonderful pro member, Nicola Davies, who has overcome a absolute, well, barrage of obstacles, I think it's safe to say, to get herself to the place where she is now in her business. Nicola, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so I am mum to in a big blended family with 10 children and 3 grandchildren. And between us, me and my husband run 3 businesses. One of those is very, very new. One of those is quite a few years old, and one of those is something that my husband used to do years ago, which was welding fabricating. And we've resurrected that over the last 2 years as well. So I run Plate Spinning Academy, which is my new one, and that's all about home organisation and getting everybody whipped up into shape at home, doing the housework, getting everything into an organised state with rotas, systems, that sort of thing. My other business, Davies Designs, is in furniture painting for the last 6 years. I've had a shop, I've had a workshop, I've sold in concession stores, that sort of thing. And decided last year I was going to pivot anyway. And this year, lots of things have happened as well as COVID. So it's the right year for me to pivot.
Yeah, it was the right year for you to pivot, right? It was almost like the rest of us were going into a state where we were kind of like, oh my goodness, my whole world has changed because of COVID. And you were kind of like, yeah, well, that was me last month. Welcome.
Yeah, my lockdown started 2 years before everybody. That's 2 years. No, maybe it did. I don't know. 2 months before everybody else. Yeah. In January, I had a minor heart attack and spent 6 days in hospital, and have basically spent the rest of the year recovering. It's only the last kind of like 2 to 3 months that I've been feeling well enough to kind of get back up on the horse and start doing stuff again. So I was already at home on the sofa, watching Netflix, doing all of that stuff. So when kind of lockdown happened in March, I felt like, oh, well, everyone's come to join me.
That's it. We just came to join you where you were at. What I always find quite crazy about your situation in the best possible way is you and I were in connection. We were talking and we were working together a little bit earlier on. And I reckon I feel like it was around the June, July time that we had a discussion. It will have been July, of course, it will have been July. We had a discussion. We were talking about something. We were talking about your business. And you just really casually dropped into conversation. Well, like, yeah, since I had my heart attack in January. And I was like, what? Because from our point of view, you were just striving forward, you were joining memberships, you were learning and training, you were looking at your business model and making those critical decisions over how you wanted to work. And I mean, naively, I guess, just assumed that those critical decisions about your business model had been made on the back of those really what seem almost kind of significant things now, like, just wanting to work less or wanting to have more time. But for you, it was also about actually being able to work and still take care of your health.
Yes, because before the heart attack as well, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2018. That kind of that kind of time. So it was I tried to carry on, but very, very, over a period of time, it was becoming more and more obvious that I was going to have to find something different to do, because what you can't do with fibro is be on your feet all day, painting, lugging around great big bits of furniture, wardrobes, sideboards, that kind of thing. So I then started to look towards, okay, so what do I do now? And so it was already in the pipeline in 2019 that I was going to look at changing what I was doing. And the plate spinning academy that I do now has been kind of in my head now for about 3 or 4 years. And
isn't it lovely when you've had something in your head, like just a bean of an idea, and then all of a sudden it's starting to come to fruition and you're watching it grow? That's one of my most favorite things in business. It's just so nice when you've held on to something, you've held on to the idea, and you've done nothing with it. You've bided your time and you've done all the things, and then all of a sudden you actually get to execute it, and it's like, it's just a good release, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it was always the plan for 2020 that this is what was going to happen. But me having the heart attack forced me to sit down and rest. And what that gave me was a bit of time then to kind of reassess everything and decide when I was going to do it. Because also I've been meaning to do it for the last 2 to 3 years. And it's one of those things that got put on the back burner. Life went on, lots of things happened. I'll deal with that. I do want to do it, but I'll have to deal with it at another time. So in a way, 2020 for me has kind of enforced it. Like a lot of people have had to change what they're doing. Although it was already in the pipeline for me, it's pretty much been laid out. Nicola, you've got to do it. This is the year. You've got to do it.
It's the time. And I think when you get that call and it speaks to you, you can't ignore that. If you resonate with something and it's time, you'll kick yourself. And I've done it myself in business before when I've had a feeling and I've seen an opportunity and I've been that block in my own way. I've always kicked myself. And then when you actually do take that kind of moment of, no, I'm going to make this the year that we make those changes. I'm going to implement this. I've had this a warning. I've had this kind of shake up of my existence to remind me, actually, this was an idea that could have been going now. We're going to get it done this year. We're going to move forward.
Yeah. And also part of Plate Spinning Academy is to keep me accountable as well, because I've got to look after myself as well. It's all about managing what you have, what you're doing, not doing too much and pacing yourself. So in a way, it's holding myself accountable as well.
Well, I love that because, I mean, you guys know more than anyone that when people talk to me about pro members, the most beautiful thing about pro members is it was built for me. It was built for the person I was in my journey at that time. I'd gotten to a place where people wanted to work with me further, and I couldn't take on any more work. I was just physically exhausted. I wasn't seeing my kids. I'd gone from being booked and stressed, financially okay, but booked and stressed, to pivoting, booked and stressed, pivoting, booked and stressed. So what I'd actually done was found myself with 3 businesses, all working very successfully. I mean, which is wonderful, right? It's good, kudos, but they're just completely overboard. Something needed to change. I thought to myself so many times when I was building those businesses up, if I just had somebody who knew about this stuff, I could ask that question. If I could just pick someone's brain on this so that I didn't have to try every single avenue and pay often to try those avenues, like the amount of money you pay trying that system or trying to learn whether that's something that will work for you or whether you should be introducing this into your business. So the fact that you've built something that, although it's going to serve your people beautifully, actually it's good for you as well. I think that's wonderful, because I mean that's exactly what I've done, and I say all the time, it is my elite community pro members where it is as much for me as it is for you guys, and we build it, and it's just amazing. Thank you, Emma. We're glad to have you too, darling. But yeah, I think that's wonderful. So what's happening with that now? Where are you at with it? Are you inviting new members to that?
Yeah, I have a free group that was open on the 30th of October, and we're just getting to the point now where we're just nearly at 100 members. Fingers crossed by the end of the month we'll be there. It's been a really good start. There's lots of engagement in there. There's ladies from all different communities that I've found through Facebook. And it's got a really good vibe. I'm not in a massive rush to do much in there right now. It's just I've got to take it at my own pace, because all of this digital work for me as well is very, very new. I've been in business for quite a while, and I have always sold face to face, whether it's in a shop or on a market stall or anything like that. And so for me to now come into this digital world and then have to put myself on camera and have to kind of do all of this, it's great. It's like, okay, oh, what do I do now then? And then like just getting to grips with Instagram is a different language to me. I'm getting there though. I am getting
You're doing
there.
so well. You're doing so well. I mean, the fact I love our Instagram sessions where we can do things together, because
Lovely.
I have a course, and you've been on it, the Instagram Glow and
I
Grow
have,
course.
yeah.
And that is by far, I mean, it's going to need updating because the buggers keep adding things, don't they? But that is by far the most extensive Instagram course that I've ever seen out there, which is why I built it. Because after seeing all the Instagram courses and seeing that they just fall short of the actual how you do that thing, I found it really, really frustrating. For somebody who is starting that has not spent the last 6 or 7 years in social media the way I have and my peers have, you can't walk into Instagram and automatically know what the point of all these different districts is and how you behave. There is a different behavior to every single part. But people look at Instagram as a whole rather than breaking it down. And it becomes overwhelming, right? Because there's actually a hella load of features. And one thing that I always find really funny is that the people who know the most about Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter are those of us who are actually using those programs in a proactive way in our businesses. Technically, these are free tools that we can milk to our advantage, right? But normal users don't know half of the stuff we know about these things. So you can go into a polite conversation now and you can be talking about, how wonderful it is to have engagement stickers in your stories, and people they just think that those things are there for fun. They have no idea that they're actually being used to create that connection, to do all of this back of house. It very much is a performance. Somebody once said to me that Facebook and Instagram is my stage and Dawn is my stage manager. And I loved that because I thought that was wonderful. I'm the person in the headset going, okay, now is your cue. Go and do this line and then do this choreography and then do this, and it will work for you. And I thought that was a fantastic analogy of kind of having somebody in your pocket to refer to with all of these different programs when you're trying to use them. But what I love is
in your pocket, yeah.
Jordan in your pocket, absolutely. But when we get together and we do the Instagram sessions together, I think that's really valuable, because then we can, on screen, we can see what's actually happening and we can talk about what happens here. And I love those sessions. And one of the reasons why I included them into the pro members was because I had recognized that we can do a lot of talking about what we're going to do. And then I can say to you, go away and do this thing. But prioritizing the going away and doing this thing is harder than coming and spending an hour with me. I put an event in and say, right, I'm going to be there for an hour. You guys show up, right? You show up. But if I say to you, right, guys, find yourself an hour to do this thing, you go, okay.
Yeah.
and then don't put it in. So more of the small actions that create overall traction in your year that make those differences. So that, I mean, I've been able to look back now twice at the previous year and look at my pro members and go, whoa, look how far you've come, you know, which is a beautiful thing. So I really enjoy that. But I think you've embraced Instagram really well.
I mean, I've only started like in the last 3 months, and it can be quite time consuming when you're first doing it, but just keep doing it, practice. I'll get quicker. I'm finding some shortcuts now that where I can save time, but it is finding that time to do it can be really hard, and especially when, and obviously that my new business is all about rotas and systems and habits, putting those habits into place. And one of my new habits now is I have to find the time to post on Instagram. I'm now knowing, and I didn't know until I did your training, that there was even 4 districts to Instagram. I thought,
I know what's funny now
stick a photo on and that's it.
That's it. People think there's just one, but now there's actually more than 4 in districts. So since we did that training together in May, I think it was May we did it. There is now. So obviously we did direct messages, stories, IGTV, and your profile grid. Obviously the kind of floating one is the news feed, and then we talked about the search discovery area. So I mean, really, technically, you could say that's 7. But now there's guides and reels.
I know. I've had a play on reels. I've not even looked at the guides yet. There's just so much, and we're just updating it all the time. So it's good to have you to come to, because you're on it straight away. We're like, you get seeing your news, Facebook newsfeed. Oh, Instagram has brought out something or other new thing, and I'm like, I've not even got to grips with the last one. But you are.
I know.
You shortly after it, you're straight on it. I've seen this. I'm on it. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And you're learning, so you can relay back to us, and that is brilliant. That is just, that saves us so much time.
Well, the funny thing is for me and also the girls in my agency, we actually train the girls that help me inside my business and don't just take on other client work and stuff, which is the way we work it most of the time. We all train every single year, and it costs me thousands for us all to keep up on stuff. And one of the things that we've always done is we've always had a communication and connection between Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Now, I must admit, Twitter and LinkedIn have never been great at letting us know what they're doing. You can pay for this information and you can have that great connection. You don't always get the information up front. Facebook used to be amazing at it until towards the end of 2019. And obviously Facebook took over Instagram earlier than that. So Instagram were great, and then they got thrown in with Facebook's communicators, So towards the end of 2019, we might get an email 3 hours before something went live, okay? Or you'd get 3 months before, you'd get 600 concept ideas that they were considering that they were going to roll out, and you had to kind of guess which ones would be next. And then 2020 happened, and Zuckerberg went mad and just decided, okay, everyone's going to have everything they could ever want all the time. Right now, I'm going to drop them all on them in one go, which is kind of what they did in 2020 with all the new features on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm looking at my list that we'd had previously about proposed updates, proposed changes. And yes, sure, Rooms was on there, but so was their virtual reality gaming. So was their, their own coin, because they're doing their own Bitcoin. All of that currency stuff was on there as well. So there's no way to know. And they just drop it. I normally get an email literally hours before it's happened on social media. But if you're already on, and you see something new, it's like, oh, this is new. I've had people come to me and say, Dawn, did you know this had dropped? And I go, No, let me check my list. Oh, yeah, that's an official drop. Nice for them to let us know. So this is why we're constantly on it all the time, because it's actually easier for me to just be on it and notice when these things change than to rely on them to let us know. And what I try to do is I try to get in as early as possible so that none of you come across anything that could be confusing or overwhelming. And then I'll say, okay, this is the new feature. This is what's happening. And I'm going to train you on it next month. So don't worry about it. Just stick a pin in it and I'll show you what to do. I mean, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about being able to share that with you, is that we can have those updates, especially in these last couple of months where it's been really crazy.
It has been crazy. Yeah, this just I can't keep up. I just can't keep up with this. I'll just listen to whatever you're saying. I'll just take that, and that's fine for me.
Well, that's okay, because you've got me. You don't need to worry about it.
I know. You've got our backs on that, definitely. It's
Yeah, for sure.
it's like you said, it's a free tool for us to use for our businesses. It's massive. I barely scratched the surface of anything like that at all. So, but hopefully this time next year, I'll be a whiz, and I'll be right on it.
It's already happening now. It's already
It is,
happening now. You
yeah.
just don't realise. Because the other thing is, as well, is it's sometimes difficult for you to notice how much you've grown. You know,
I
it's
know.
really difficult for you to see yourself. I say this all the time. If you look back at where you were this time last year, what's the difference? What systems are you using this time that you weren't using this time last year? What your habits? I mean, you're perfect at this because this is what you do.
Yeah.
How many new habits have you introduced into your day?
I've learnt Canva. I didn't know. I was just starting to look at Canva this time last year, and
Yeah.
I went straight in for the pro version. I'm not messing about. The last 12 months for me have been about investing in myself as well. And I got to a point in my business, yes, I was going to pivot, and I knew then that I was going to have to start investing in learning new things, investing in software, all of that. So my husband goes off to buy like a new piece of machinery or a new drill or whatever he's needing for his business. Oh, my tools are up here. The tools that I buy are all up here. And there is no way that I could be doing what I'm doing now if I'd have stayed where I was this time last year, not spending any money on myself.
What was the thing that made you switch between possibly trying to consume all the free stuff and actually realizing, no, this is my time to put some money behind me and back me?
Last year I was introduced to Lisa Johnson, which then opened up this massive network of amazing women, including yourself. And I just suddenly thought, what have you been doing, Nicola? I think Emma said yesterday that she'd just been winging it for years, and I'm the same. I actually recall a few years ago saying, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, that somebody told me they were paying £10 a month for a business coach, and I was like, what are you paying somebody that for? Why would you pay somebody to tell you what to do? And now I'm and I think about I do spend a lot of money on learning new things, and it's priceless because it's going to be here forever. You know, it's going to be
That's it.
yeah.
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 Yeah. And it's like what I remember of being maybe a younger adult was that in order for you to achieve more, you would go into education for a certain amount of time, right? Like you would go through high school, you would go to college, you go to uni, and then anything in that self-development area kind of mangled into self-care. So it was like you'd go for a massage or have your nails done or have your hair done, or you'd take care of yourself by even possibly having a gym instructor. And that was about as far as it went for me. Like that's my understanding. It was a massive breakthrough when I realized that actually an act of self-care is taking care of the talent of the person. Like if you was to speak to Julia Roberts, she has people around her that advise, that support, that train. She learns new stuff, you know, for every new role she'll learn something different. And there is something about that I think is starting to come to the forefront of people's minds now. Like, we're starting to actually click on that it's not just a fad, it's actually something that's incredibly valuable. And I can imagine in 5, 10, 15 years that having a business coach or a life coach of some description will become the norm.
Yes, I think it will too. I know very few people now that don't have a business coach or don't have some sort of investment in learning something new.
Yeah.
It's
It's that
and like
support
you said, the
network.
growth absolutely as well. Yeah, and when you buy into a membership as well, you're not just kind of buying into the person running that membership. You have got that community there as well, and I've have worked with, and I'm hoping to work with some of the members that you've got in yours. I've got my eye on Emma from a branding photography for next year. I just need to schedule in when I'm going to do it. And it's you get everybody else. You know, it's not just you get everybody else as well. And
No,
it's
you
just
absolutely do. It's
a
about the
lovely place
community
to be.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think, I mean, that's a sound investment on your brand photography, by the way. But it is one of those situations whereby I've been in memberships where there are 5, 6,000 people in them.
yeah.
And, you know, it can be difficult in those types of memberships where there's a lot of voices to actually build those quality connections, to actually hold that space for each other where you are truly taking care of each other and truly
Mm-hmm.
supporting. And that's not to say that there isn't something about those memberships that's wonderful, but I think, like everything, there are 16 billion different types of bread products. There are 16 different types of memberships, and they all have a slightly different vibe. And when I was learning about memberships and how we could maybe create one, and it was before I'd even met Lisa, Mac Pro Members predates all of those relationships. I was trying to build something that would be a training network. It would be a self-learning network, and that was my point. And I very quickly realized that actually, for me, for this situation, that doesn't work, because everything that we do in Pretty Pros is heart centered. So although I want you to learn, although I want you to grow, and although we have a lot of really strict business strategies and plans, and we get stuff done, it's actually more about the sisterhood. It's more about having that safe space. Everybody is valued and everybody is a voice. You know, it's not just a crowd situation, it very much is a group community situation. So I really love that. And there is a place for those bigger memberships, but I just think that sometimes ours is slightly different. It's not the same. And the same for like sticking to particular themes, because we don't stick to particular themes either. If we need it, if we want it, we're having it. Like tonight,
Yeah.
we're having an oracle card reading.
I know.
You know, you'd be like, oh, but your group isn't like a spiritual group. I don't care. We are spiritual people. We might not have, you know, those things in place. So I might not sell it as that, but that's who we are. If we want it, we'll have it.
I'm wearing my crystals today. Oh, and I have a Reiki tattoo as well. But I've got my crystals on today. The
I've
right
got my
ones
rose
that I need.
quartz. Got my rose
Got that
quartz
one
on.
there.
Yes,
Yeah, along with
fantastic.
my hematite to keep me grounded while I'm on live today. So I'll come
You've
off
done
when I
really well.
finish.
How have you felt? How have you felt
I'm
whilst being online?
fine. I'm okay. I think I'm better live when I'm talking to somebody else. It's really hard sometimes when you're talking live and you feel like there's nobody there.
It's a little bit like presenting. It is a little bit like presenting, I
Yeah.
think, when you're on your own. I actually find it a lot easier now, but what I might try and do is dig out one of my earlier videos. They're in Pro Members if you look hard enough.
I'll have to go and have a look.
One of my earlier videos. I remember I was working part-time still. because I had this block. Really, it was absolutely a mindset block, which was I need to keep that job because that's the stable job. That's the thing that if this all falls down or anything goes wrong, and I don't, at that point I had two and a half of the three successful businesses. So it seems a bit silly now to tell you this, but obviously inside myself, I was still a little bit concerned about the success. And I literally on my lunch break needed to speak to the pretties, the pro members. So I went to this local park and I sat there underneath a tree and I just went live. And I remember for me, there was this moment. The girls came on, the ones that were in, and I think there was only 5 or 6 girls in at the time. And we were chatting about stuff and we were talking about what they needed to do. And somebody was working on something that day and they were like, oh, Dawn, that's brilliant. Thank you. I'm going to go and do that now. And she did. And I remember thinking to myself, this isn't right. Me sitting here on my lunch break is the wrong way round. Like, this should be my work, and there shouldn't be any of what was still going on in the part-time job. So I mean, I guess for you, you've been through that business journey where you've seen all three of your businesses evolve, and now you're probably at that really great experienced place where you know this is what you want to do. So getting comfortable with lives with people or without people is just one of those things that you're working on.
It's definitely something that I'm working on. I mean, I think I was the first to kind of go, yeah, interview me. Not that I want to, but I have to do it. I know it's one of those things that I am just going to have to get used to doing. I mean, I've been live in my own group a few times, not enough, and I need to work on that. But I know it's one of my blocks. So I'm just going to keep at it until it's not a problem, until it becomes routine, until it becomes a habit. That's, you just keep doing it and keep doing it. So,
I'm so proud of you that not only that you recognize it as a block, but that you have that amazing attitude where you're like a ninja going, oh, you're a block, are you? I'm just gonna get rid of you and do what I need to do. Goodbye, block. I mean, if only everybody had that great, point of view where they just jump in. I think people would be more successful. That whole feel the fear and do it anyway, it does hold weight, right? Half of the things I've done that have been scary have been those up level shifts.
Yeah, I think Emma mentioned yesterday that she suffers with anxiety, and I'm the same. You might not think that I have anxiety, but I do, to a point where it can cause me quite a lot of physical problems. So I've had to get to a place where I'm comfortable that if I bring any more stuff on, come on, bring it on, but I am capable of dealing with it. Because it's always one of that. I don't want to put myself under any more pressure. But this year has been just obviously we've all been through the whole lockdown and everything like that, and there's a lot of people suddenly realizing that they're in the wrong job, that want to change things. For me, it has been, I've always known, I've wanted to change things, but if I carry on in the circle that I've been treading for myself for the last few years of, I don't want to cause myself any more stress, I'm just going to carry on walking around in that circle. I need to be kind of walking in a straight line. I mean, it might kind of deviate every now and again, but any block now, I acknowledge it. I might not slash it straight away, but I work on how to do it. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I just signed up for some software thinking, let's give this a go. And I realised it was a massive block because I didn't have the tech in place. I had a massive block, and I immediately knew that I could overcome it. I just need to learn how to use it now.
Yeah.
So, but
is that Kartra?
It is Kartra.
Is that
yeah. They just had the best deal ever, so I just grabbed it. So I thought, right, let's give it a
You're
go.
the second pro pretty that needs some Kartra training, so I'll sort that out.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I'll sort that out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wondered. Yeah. It's. I mean, it's becoming increasingly popular. So, it is a brilliant platform. I've looked at Contra and I know how to use it. I don't actually use it myself, only because, and I think I will. I think I'll make the shift. But at the moment, I really love my website and I really
Yeah.
love the way we've built it. So I'm happy to stick with that. I mean, you probably know because we've chatted in Pro Members, I've got a lot that we're bringing in next year. So I've
Yeah.
decided that the website and switching stuff for me can stay where it is for now. But Contra is a fantastic tool and it will serve you well. And if you've got a good deal on it, then even better. Because the only complaint that we ever have about Contra is that it can be a bit on the pricey side.
Well, I've got a good 6-month deal, which will give me time to play around with it, get to grips with it, decide if I want to keep it. Well, hopefully by that time it'll be paying for itself anyway. So, but yeah, any blocks, I'm ready for them now.
No more. We're not having any blocks. I love it. I love it.
But
Okay.
one of the good things about being in your group as well is that if I'm feeling bad about anything like that, you can just come in and talk about it. What you mentioned, sister, I made some notes, and you mentioned the word sisterhood, and that's one of them that I wrote down.
Yay.
Definitely, because it is absolutely. It's just I can't wait to meet everybody in person.
Oh, that's coming
Can't
too. That's
wait.
coming too. I mean, the funny thing is unfortunately we've had to sacrifice a lot this year that should have been on our Pretty Pro members roster just because I won't do anything if I can't keep you guys safe. And I know that we'd be safe. I know we'd be careful, but I can't muster the idea that we will get together and I won't be able to go around and give you all a hug. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't. I can say like, oh, we'll socially distance. Could you imagine how excruciating that would be after all this time? So we're going to do it. When we do it, we do it right. And there's 2 opportunities, and I can't really discuss them further, but there's going to be 2 opportunities for us all to get together in 2021. And one of them is just a nice meal out somewhere central where we can all get to, and the other one is exciting and a bit more involved. So I know there's a lot to come. There's a lot to come for 2021. It's very exciting. I mean, what's really nice for me is I think there are a lot of people that will look at Pretty Pro members and think they have to be a coach or they have to be like a specific business to come in. And I love it when you talk about where you've come from and the fact that you have these other businesses as well. And actually, it's still these things still served you even before you had your group. You don't have to fit that exact mold to get the business support and the friendship and to have people there that will help you grow.
Yeah, absolutely. It's. I mean, you've given me support for all of them. You don't have to be a coach. No, I don't class myself as a coach anyway. Not yet. Maybe soon, but I mean, you've just got so many different ladies in there, all doing different things.
Completely
It's not
different
all about
niches.
coaching.
No, I mean, and coaches are welcome, of course, because it's helpful.
Yeah.
But we have product-based people in Pro members who are absolutely smashing things. What I think is always funny about our product girls is that they're so busy with their shops
Yeah.
that sometimes they don't come to trainings. So like some of the product based ladies that we have in Pro members, we'll get messages or we'll get the odd post or we'll get things in the chat, but they might not actually be physically there when we're doing trainings. They rewatch a lot of stuff because since joining Pro members, they've done what they needed to do to get things in order, and they're getting so many orders they haven't got time to sit around listening to El Dornio. They've got to send things out and get to post office and make things up, and I love that in itself is lovely. Somebody sending me a message saying, Dawn, I'm sorry I can't make the training today, I'll have to watch it on replay because I've got 100 orders, is just
That's
it's good,
great.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And because I come from that product based background, I think I appreciate that a little bit more because I've been that person turning a bedroom, a spare bedroom or a garage or whatever into your workshop, into your place.
I've done it.
You
I've
know.
done it. I think it took 60 parcels to the post office one day. It was a good day, but it was like, oh, yeah.
The hustle is real in that situation. Emma is absolutely needing a hug, and Helen wants to make sure that wherever we have the meal, it's near an airport. Where I've got planned is near a major airport, just to confirm. And I'm looking forward to that. I think we'll really enjoy that. So, what have you got going on for 2021 then? What will the properties be helping you with for next year?
Well, we had our strategy session the other night, which has helped me clarify quite a few things. One of the main things I wanted to do for Plate Spinning Academy was to have a planner. And I'm going for it next year. I'm going to launch it probably September time, something like that. So that's what I'm working towards next year. I've got a few little things. There's possibly a masterclass in January, to be confirmed. It's a little bit like a boot camp. Everyone sees New Year as their time to get their lives in order and get their homes in order and that sort of thing. Not everybody sticks to the New Year's resolution, so I might be doing it towards the end of January rather than the beginning, just to say, look, you know what, it doesn't have to be at New Year. You can do this at any time of the year at all. Yeah, I'm looking at structuring some one-to-one work as well, possibly some group programs, that sort of thing, because I'm very much at the beginning. I'm still, it's all flexible. It's like, that's okay.
I kind of love that though.
Yeah, it's because we've got the other businesses like kind of paying for everything else. I'm not under that pressure, so I can have a bit of a play around with it and go, how's this going to work? Because it's got to suit me as well. It's got to suit, what I need from my work. I need it to be flexible. We need to work it around the kids. If you know anything about us, we have an extremely busy life with lots of curveballs thrown in left, right, and centre. The latest one in the last week. So it's got to be flexible because we put the family and the kids first. So, but it's going to be good. I'm quite excited about it. But the planner is definitely on the cards. So yeah, good stuff.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. Are you going to sell the planner on Amazon, or are you going to have that be published? How are you doing that? Because I love the idea of the whole Amazon side of things, but some people prefer to have like a physical one.
I'm already on Amazon through Kindle Direct Publishing, so I've had a bit of a play around with I've got some like a few little notebooks and things just to get my head around the system, how it works. There's actually no reason why I can't do that, and then it's just
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And we've got a training in the properties about Amazon. Is it KDP?
Yeah.
Might have said that right, KDP.
Yeah.
So that you can, if you ever have anything like that. I love the idea of the notebooks and stuff just selling in the background, bringing in money all the time.
These are mine.
Yeah.
So
and how do they do?
Just my kind of playing around kind of thing. You can design the covers in Canva, and then the insides I do. That's a dot grid. I'm not allowed to call them bullet journals. The dot grids.
Dot grids.
Bullet journal is trademarked, but where's my other one? Just the normal notebooks.
Brilliant. And do they sell quite well in the background?
To be honest, I've not pushed them. I've just done them as let's see what the process is. I got my first payment last month, which was £1, something like that. But I've screenshot it. It's my first almost completely passive income. And I think it was like £2 and something, but I screenshot it with the date, and I'm going to compare it to this time next year, when hopefully there'll be a lot more. So it's like you can do stuff like this, like a business order book, just for like small businesses who don't want to be bothered with like spreadsheets and stuff. I'm just doing it at the moment to just play around and see, can I get to grips with it? It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. It's and once they're up there, that's it. You don't have to do anything else with them at all. So it's just the
Just watch the
initial.
money roll in every month.
Yeah. Hopefully a bit more than what I had last month. But like I said, I've not really pushed them. I've been busy setting my group up and all of that. So but there is no reason why I can't do a planner through that. Have them. You can
Yeah.
have them bigger, and I've got designs ready. I just need to put them together, and we'll see. We'll see what
Yay!
happens.
That is so exciting. So lots of fantastic stuff for 2021 then that we'll be helping you with. I
Yeah,
can't
loads.
wait. But before we go,
Mhm.
which one has been your favourite training in Pro members?
Well, I had to look back because there's been that many, and I've
I
ended up.
know.
I write everything in my diary, but look at all this, and that's just up to the end of September. From July to September, there's loads. My favourite, I love the coaching calls. Absolutely love seeing everybody on Zoom, and everyone's just so smiley. And that my favourite training was the app building one with
Yeah.
Charlotte, the guest friend,
Yes.
because what it did for me was it took a concept that I thought was completely out of my reach, and it made it completely feasible to do.
Oh, let that be the one thing that I
Mm,
do with everything for you is that feeling that something is out of your reach actually is not, and we will find a way to get and attain it.
it's now on my strategy. It probably won't be next year, probably the year after, but it just made it so much more achievable. Definitely.
Yeah.
So again,
Just a release in your brain that actually, yes, I can do that.
do this. That can
I
happen.
can do
Yeah,
it.
it's
It
great.
will happen. Yeah. Yay! Okay, my darling. Well, thank
Yep.
you so much for joining us today. We do have the celebration of Pro members being open for another 4 days yet. I can't believe how many people have messaged me and said, I'm going to join. I'm so happy that you've opened it. We are so happy to invite you guys in and to welcome you guys in. If anybody wants to sign up today, I will drop the link in the comments to this video. A massive thank you to you, Nicola, for coming and speaking to me
Thank
today
you.
about your wonderful business. It's been a joy, and I think you're an absolute natural. I think we should do this more often. And I'll see you guys soon.